Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Hey, I moved the camera around a little bit. It's out of focus, see. We'll fix that later. We've got a bunch to talk about. This was like the longest weekend in markets ever. So, oh my gosh. Now, hold on a second. We are going to get some news here. It's all just Canadian numbers. Let me turn off the news squawk here. What is making you dizzy? The camera is making you dizzy. I readjusted it. I got a little level on it here. Hold on. This is not loud enough. There we go. That's a little better. I got a little level on it. And when I look at the camera, that does not look level at all. But then when I look at this, I look level, but it's not pointed in the right spot. So we're gonna have to fix that a little bit. But hey, let's talk about what happened this weekend first, yeah? All right, so here is the S&P 500. As we left off on the, what was it? The 25th, was it? Wait, when was the last time we streamed? It was a Wednesday, right? 24th. Okay, yeah, 24th is when we left. Thanksgiving Day, futures pretty But then, Black Friday, we just had a doozy 2% down day on the S&P 500. The headline being that there is a new variant of the coronavirus, the Omicron virus, that has several mutations on the spike protein and can evade the vaccine. So, down 2%. Now, of course, that's going to be on very, very low liquidity, hence why they were able to move so much, but it was pretty devastating, I must say. That was like a good 2 or 3 weeks worth of gains just taken out all at once. And the treasuries responded in kind. Now, there was a rollover here, so the rollover, they were lower, but now we're all of a sudden we're higher. Interestingly enough, a little bit of steepening as the treasuries rose up, but at the moment kind of pointed to the downside. Although if you come over here and you look, we can see that we have recovered by quite a bit. Where's my little chart? There we go. I'm gonna fix that. So that looks all nice. Okay. Now, the one that got hit the hardest though, oil. Oh my gosh, look at that. All the way down to 68 from 79. So a $11 drop in oil in one day. That is pretty insane. Now, Goldman Sachs, they did the analysis and they said that if the Omicron variant did its worst, that is that the economic impacts of it was even worse than any of the previous lockdowns and so on and so forth, that it would still put the oil at $80. What? So that's pretty far. I don't know. Long oil here? Well, I have to say, if you went long here on the open on oil, I think you'd be pretty happy. I mean, that's $1.50. Pretty crazy stuff, right? Anyways, elsewhere you can see here, natural gas was having a little bit of a fit, but you know, it's still within its range, I guess. Gold and silver actually got hit on that move as well, even though yields declined. So here you can see gold acting as a risk asset. I have to say, it seems like gold can be a good hedge against inflation, but the like risk premium to it, you know, It's not a very good place to go when like it's a risk off because they get hurt too. It's margin. Captain Price, oil was down to like negative 12%. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like I said though, Goldman thinks $80. So we'll see. It looks like a we could have a recovery. We'll see. Silver down 2, and then copper took it on the nose as well there. Though I'd have to say that's actually, compared to the other ones, that's relatively, it's okay. I mean, it didn't do any technical damage to copper at least, so there's that. And then of course we have to come and look at the currencies. The dollar got hammered on that move, but hey, you know what? The dollar at almost 97 at one point. That seems a little high to me, personally. And Bitcoins. There's this guy on TikTok. Talks about the Bitcoins, and that's what he always calls them. Yeah, they got hit as well. So here you can see again, the big risk premium to it. And that takes us to today. Now, note that, U.S. markets haven't gotten started yet, right? Even though the Asian and European markets didn't really do anything too crazy, we could see a strong buy the dip here, but let's see. That's kind of the scenario that I think I'm going to be looking out for. It's just we got to be cautious about it though. I mean, look at the treasuries. The treasuries having a pretty hard bounce off of their lows. So if you went short oil on Friday with 20 contracts, how much would you have made? You would have made $100,000. You would have made $200,000, right? No, not 200. Maybe. So what it would be $10,000 per contract times 20 would be $200,000. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? That is an insane move. By the way, I got these chairs in the background. I don't know what to do about this, but my child will not stop using chairs to climb up onto the counters. So at first we were just pushing the chairs over and like putting them on top of each other, and then he couldn't use them to get them up. But now he has learned to put the chairs back up. So now we have to put the chairs in here. That's what that's about. So let's fix the camera here a little bit, shall we? I think that was a little bit too much, huh? AI has evolved. What are you talking about, Copper Price? You know what I'm going to have to do? I need the grid lines. Oh yeah, I am in the center. Let's just keep it there for a bit. See how we feel about it, okay? And let's make sure we're in focus. There we go. Like the Robo Dog in the Black Mirror. What are you talking about, What are you talking about, boy? Well, I feel like we should have an oil dom up here, huh? Instead of watching the dollar today, because of the way that it moved. Let's do that. Let's see here. I think I made one earlier. Yeah, I did. Here we go. Well, on this one, we definitely do not need an order column, so I can get rid of that. There we go. That should be good. Be all messy, but that's okay. Yeah, I'll resize it to take up the whole thing, even though it's kind of... There we go. Check out Robot Dog in Australia versus... Okay. Am I looking at tech again with the variant? Well, that's okay. So we didn't say everything that we need to say about the variant, right? Okay. So the variant was first detected in Africa, but since then it has been detected in other places, and it appears that it has probably been there for quite some time. So this new variant is like already out there and spreading. Okay. And I think that already kind of tells you something really important, right? This new variant is not like crazy potent or anything like that. It might be very contagious, but it's not causing significant cases, like really severe cases. And then, you talk to the doctor that first identified the variant, and he says that all of the cases that they have found have been mild. And when you look at the spike protein and the mutations that it has, it is more contagious, but it also has some mutations that kind of destabilize it, they said. So it really does look to me that the Omicron variant has been like way oversold. Like it's not going to be as big of a deal as they thought. Like first of all, the markets, even in a worst case scenario, the markets overreacted because there was low liquidity, and so all pricing and everything is just completely screwed up right now because of the low liquidity. And then on top of that, the Omicron variant does not look like it is going to be even half as severe as initial headlines might have implied. But that's why I keep why I'm so interested in oil right now, because like that seems to be the asset that overcorrected the most, Pull up COVID geomic map on next strain. This variant has likely been around the world for months. Right. Like it's like, that's the thing, is it kind of flew under the radar. I really think that it's probably a case of like algorithms freaking out, I mean, this isn't the first time that we've seen this too, right? Remember there was that one time they were talking about, it was another variant after Delta, and there was like a short-term market like freak out when the headlines were released, but then it very quickly, ignored it. I don't know if you guys would remember that, but I'm looking at my screen. Another thing that I got to fix here is the light. It's closer to Alpha V1 than Delta. Huh. Well, while we were talking, they tagged 72 in oil there. Another thing I forgot to note was that 43 30 was where the S&P 500 closed that Friday. Like, they closed at that level, and then in the aftermarket, they sold further. So we might, that 30 is going to be an interesting level for them in the S&P 500 when they get going, right? Logged off previous day volume profile. What do you mean by that? I mean, when you look at a day like that, like, come on. It is, I guess maybe what you're saying is that, like, there was all volume well below where this profile was. That may well be, that is the case, where there was a bounce here, and then another push down, and then all of this volume down here. All this volume down here looks like that only happened because they needed to close their positions. He says a screen. Okay, here. Oh, I see you. Ooh, that's a cool picture. Okay. So there's the Delta. And there's a bunch of different Alpha ones. Oh, and there's Omicron. Yeah. So Omicron is based on a variant that has kind of been floating around for a long time. Now, what do you think about the treasuries moving here? Am I missing a headline here? Oh, well, I need to turn my news squawk back on. That would help. The treasury is really moving there. I don't see the other assets doing so. I don't really see anything. I don't know why they would be bouncing quite like that. Oil equities are ATMs this past year, looking like some great early moving bounces. Yeah. Well, I had thought about that. I was like, because I would have wished to have been long oil a long time ago. Gary talked me out of it a long time. Then I never really got in. Like, I done a bunch of research. I probably need to research it again to see which ones would be best. It seems to me like some of the plays that I would have done in the past on oil haven't actually done that well. Like, a lot of the infrastructure ones and stuff have kind of like languished because those guys are dealing more with the supply issues, and they don't get to take advantage of the benefits from the oil. There's no way that this camera is level. There is no way that is level. Well, it looks right. How is that? I don't understand how that. Oh, that's funny. I have this little level on the camera, and it says that it's level. Tell me I'm just crazy. I will never. What happened, Air Cages? Are you okay? Did Bitcoins crush you on Friday? What do you mean? Why are you lying down now? CNQ is I'm going to take a look at that. Ooh, the Great Barrier Reef has given birth in its annual coral spawn, creating a cacophony of color on the Australian lake. Oh, very, very nice. You watched that documentary on the coral reef bleaching event? That was, this is so sad. So sad to watch. I'm still waiting for Air Cages to tell us. Were you like leveraged? He's gonna. I bet you he's gonna come in and he's gonna be say that he was leveraged into Bitcoin. Oh, you know what? I didn't have all of these fixed. We gotta switch all these ones over. I rolled over my DOMs to the new ones, but I haven't rolled over. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. ZN. Okay. By the way, the interest rates are kind of pushing back now. And ZF, there we go. Oh, that one didn't pick up the right one. There we go. There we go. ZB. ZN. And ZF. Then these are all 03, 03, 03. Now ES is still in December, right? And they haven't moved over yet. Getting close though. Will be soon. Crypto had my balls in a vice. Somebody told me markets only. I told you that wasn't true. Why do you believe them and not me? I don't understand. Ooh, there's a new high there in oil. Pretty good bust. Danny says my price is at the top of the screen, so it cannot go higher. Well, ES kind of turned risk on there too at the same time. But look at oil is going, right? Like they broke out there 72. Well, it started at 72. There was the new highs were around 25, and look, they're already like 50 cents higher. Are you watching this? This is nuts. Why are we not long oil? Why are we not oil traders? I tell you what, I sure wish that I had a position on in oil, because that is looking mighty awesome. I'm now convinced December will stomp my head in. There is a lot of uncertainty for the Bitcoin market in December, I tell you that much. You know, I don't think we still have gotten any news on the whole Mt. Gox thing. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to go do, let's see here, Mt. Gox. And then I'm going to come over here to news. No, there's nothing in the, like there's news stories in the past week, but they're all like the same ones. It's not more news about the plan. We need more news about the plan. That's the first big hurdle to deal with in December. And then the next big hurdle is the seasonal selling in Bitcoin, right? USO. JP Morgan is calling for $150 oil? Are you for real? Wait. Was that why they're moving there? I tell you what. I mean, that was an 80 cent move, just like that. And like the crazy thing is that they all think that fair value, well, not they all, but Goldman thinks that fair value is up at $80. GT says yes. Hey, so where did you get that from? Is there somebody on Twitter tweeting that? Because it did not show up on my lists. $150 oil, are we going to work? The 150 does sound a little crazy to me, huh? But here's the thing. Joe Biden will not return MBS's calls. That's the problem. And, maybe the Saudis would be inclined to be kind of nice to the United States, but no. GT says looking for a link. That seems like something that should be on my news squawks, and I haven't seen yet. That was a whole dollar in oil in less than 2 minutes. Actually, it was a little bit more than that. Let's see here. I'm seeing breaking stock news. Oh, sorry, it's unusually active. Is that the name of that account on Twitter? Saying, well, Moderna in particular, really running up this morning. Zero hedge 1 hour ago. Okay, so that probably wasn't the. Let's read that though. That one did not show up when I was. Okay, buy the effing dippers unleashed futures yields oil. Oh wait, what the heck? Yeah, you see this guy's. Look at this. Why, you should use me. Come on, my setup is way nicer looking than this. Doesn't matter. Actually, you know what? Maybe the fact that this guy only has 2 screens up, maybe that's legit, Let's open that one up. The race for nuclear fusion is going. That's the one that I want to read later. I saw that when I was going to the shower, but I was like, no, that's not. Is it one? Are you a subscriber? Maybe it's only for subscribers right now. Well, I don't see anything about JP Morgan. I don't know. As expected over the weekend, and as we first noted shortly after electronics markets reopened for trading on Sunday, the S&P futures have maintained their overnight gains and have rebounded 2.7%, while the Nasdaq contracts jumped as much as 1.3% after risk sentiment stabilized following Friday's carnage, as investors settled in for a few weeks of uncertainty on whether the Omicron variant would derail economic recoveries and the tightening plans of some central banks. Japan led declines in the Asian equity session after the government shut borders to visitors. The region's reopening stocks such as restaurants, department stores, train operators, and travel shares also suffered some losses. Oil bounced $3 a barrel to recoup some of Friday's rout, while the safe haven yen, Swiss franc, and 10-year treasury took a breather after its run higher. Okay, and this is the news squawk full things. I'm not going to read that whole thing. I do, the treasuries look like I don't know. So the treasuries were on the move up. Let's, you know what? We should reset these. I'm going to reset the volume on these so that we can track, because this is basically only like 2 ticks off of the high, actually. So air gauges, most people are expecting a Bitcoin bear market by January, which makes me believe that we're going to be in an extended volatile 2023. Can you have a bear market with, yes. So here's the problem, air cages. It all comes down to orders, right? So there can be a situation where everybody thinks that something is going to happen, and it doesn't prevent those orders from coming, But it also does not necessarily predict which way the orders are going to go. And I think, as is the case in the S&P 500, often they will, miscalculate. They don't look at how much money is going to be coming into the markets in those months. They don't really understand how people use that stuff, and so I can't get over this camera thing. It's driving me crazy. I don't know if that level is actually accurate, but I mean, it's level in here in the screen. So how can I think that I looks to me like this should be level. That's so weird. Anyways, I need to stop talking about it. You guys don't care. Yeah, but on anyways, I should continue. So in Bitcoin, how do we know, like how do we calculate what kind of money is going to come into the Bitcoin market? Well, it seems to me like that all of the money coming into the Bitcoin market is coming through Tether, and that they're not stopping, like, so I am kind of myself a little bit skeptical. Like if the Mount Gox thing comes in and they're selling, that's going to affect Bitcoin price. That's really going to affect Bitcoin price, right? Otherwise, though, they probably just keep pushing. If you could predict that a bear market is coming soon, that expectation would already be priced in. No, not necessarily. Because again, what moves the markets? Orders. And there are some situations where, okay, so like this variant thing is a really good example. Okay, Omicron variant comes out, people sell oil. Okay, and there's a certain number of orders out there that end up selling because of this, and it's really hard for us to know. But like a lot of this selling is not like they don't necessarily want to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's programs and automated strategies and stuff that based on what they've told their investors they're going to do and stuff, they have to bail or deal with it, right? So you get a certain amount of selling. Okay, then at that point, where are we compared to what the fundamentals say that we should be? We're not going to be in line, or rather, not even fundamentals. If we take all available information and we were to use that to generate an individual price, people think that the current price is that price, that the market always is telling you that correct price based on all available information. But markets are not informationally efficient. So we are at the price that we're at now because of the orders. And if we move back up in the future, it's going to be because of the orders. Now, because we are like in oil, I think, for instance, if let's just assume that Goldman Sachs is correct and the fundamentals are at $80, then that gives people a reason to buy it, and that could be something that could predict the future orders, right? So here in this case, are those future orders priced in? Not necessarily, or else it wouldn't have moved down so much, right? But then you could say, are the future orders for the Omicron variant priced in? Well, it looks like they overpriced in. So now you kind of have that case where, if you want to go short oil because of the Omicron variant, you kind of missed your opportunity, didn't you? So for Bitcoin, if there is going to be a bear market in December, and that's like widely the expectation, it could be priced in, and it maybe not. It's just kind of depends on if the orders come. For a December, in Bitcoin, on things like that, it's like a game of chicken, don't you think? It's they're all watching each other, waiting to see who's gonna bail first, and nobody wants to be the first one, even because you don't want to miss on the upside. But okay, the heater just turned on and it's getting really hot in here. I think I need to adjust some events. Man, I know I'm like back and forth, but I'm uncomfortable. Nah, I don't think it's actually that hot out there. I think it's just me. By the way, on this little move down here, on the retrace, the ZB really moved, didn't it? So we're getting steepening, and as such, if I wanted to take a long in the micros here, I think I would want to do it in ZB. We could maybe try one over here. I don't know. I'm not really seeing like a clean place. Like the treasuries look really random to me right now. And what about oil? I still want to keep an eye on oil. I mean, it is a pull. It's just a pullback, but high there was 80. What was it? 93. Pretty decent pullback, right? Pretty decent pullback. And we still got 30 minutes till the open. So is the ticker OMIC up today? That would be funny, Eric Cages. That would be absolutely hilarious if you really actually bought that and it took off today. Forex Live oil retraces 50% of the Omicron route. Does OPEC really have the barrels? Let's see what they're saying. Is that really 50%? I guess if you say that the top of the route was 78. Yes, the OPEC meeting was pushed back to December 1st. That's a good one to point out as well. Okay, here they are talking about this note from JP Morgan is doing the rounds. It suggests that OPEC doesn't have the spare capacity that it claims. Oh, wow, really? Oh, okay. So they're saying, oh, that's interesting. They're saying, JP Morgan isn't just saying, oh, like there's going to be, they're saying that OPEC can't actually increase production as much as they claim to be able to. And that very well could lead to a $150 barrel of oil. That would be really crazy. But that is highly speculative. They're saying, well, we don't think that they have it based on our analysis, but that's not proving that they don't have it. Gives us good reason to question it, though, doesn't it? Well, and the S&P 500 right now looks just great since we started. That's another one, as we could have just gone long the S&P 500. That probably would have been a pretty good trade. Probably not as good as the trade we could take in oil, though. You think how? So if oil continues to retrace here, where do you think they get to? Well, 73 is going to be a key. Well, maybe not even 73. Let's say the top of that range, 74. 74 in oil would be a spot that I'm sure they'd be a little bit interested in. Above that, though, you got to be thinking it's going to completely retrace, right? And yeah, so I'm seeing a little bit of steepening going on here in the Treasury. That's what that was. That was some spreading. They're buying the 5 and they're selling the 30. Curious. It's actually a little curious that the treasuries haven't fallen further because the Japanese yen is just getting killed. I'm not going to read his tweet, but Glenn Greenwald, he says some some interesting and funny things on Twitter about politics. I don't know. They're in the 30-year at 9.5. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this one on. That doesn't look too bad. I think that the 5-year is going to push a little bit further, and maybe even pushes its highs of the regular session. So we might continue to see some spreading. And if the 5-year is going to make its push that way, then we don't necessarily want to be buying the ZB yet. For now, I think probably we just keep an eye on oil there, huh? Oh man, I'm just pulling up another little chart of oil. Here, I'll pull it over here. So here's our other chart of oil. And that move that we had when we busted above 72 had a lot of strong volume behind it. That is strong meta order for sure. Well, where could I put this? I kind of have a chart foil over there. I'm just gonna minimize it for now and keep that over there. We could maybe move something over here. So we'll reset things. It looks like the S&P 500 kind of had a little bit of a crescendo there for now, at least. I mean, it'd be a bit. So we still got plenty of time, right? We still got like 22 minutes until the S&P 500 opens, and that's when we really get a good idea about where this is actually going to go. So I was doing my recording, but I didn't even mention there's two things that we got to talk about. Actually, first one is freaking news squawk. Okay. I do have the video about large orders all recorded and edited up and everything. I'm very happy with it. I've decided not to put it out today. So it was the weekend and everything. There's some more editing that I can do because I think I can go and find some examples and stick them in there, and I'm still trying to download and get them. So I'm gonna put it out next week because one of the things is I've got some things that will really help with the audio in here, but they're not going to come until January. So especially those videos that we were going to use the chalkboard for. I think that we can still do the one about conditions, but then when we start talking about the more empirical stuff, I really think that we should be talking about some of the models that are out there and use a chalkboard. So, we're going to have to stall. I think that we put this one out next week, and then 2 weeks from now, we can do the order flow conditional one, and then 2 weeks after that, we can just do something else, maybe something more fun. And then hopefully we'll be at the spot. Although after we get done with all of those, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to make videos on after that. Well, there's lots of things that we can do. They're kind of more beginner videos, I guess. Scotland reports 6 cases of new variant, including people with no travel history, indicating community transmission. Yeah, see, in coming weeks, Omicron will have spread everywhere. Just remember, it's already been there the whole time. Of course, there are new proposed fees and restrictions for offshore oil. So I was looking at that the other day, Dan. Let me see if I can find it. U.S. oil output from the EIA. Yes, I think it was from the EIA. Yeah, it was. Okay, so here is the EIA. And what they say happened. Okay, so in March of 2020, U.S. oil output peaked and declined because of the coronavirus, right? Okay, so, and you can see here, so Donald Trump was 2012. So it kind of started under Obama. It did start under Obama a little bit. But then really once Donald Trump got in charge, U.S. oil production really started increasing. And it's, we're a little bit above 10,000 barrels per day. Now, if it was not for the coronavirus, would we be at 15,000 barrels per day? Perhaps. But obviously, Joe Biden has done some things to hurt oil production. Particularly, like the easiest example is canceling the pipeline, right? But can we blame the shortage in the oil market completely on Joe Biden? I don't think we can, at least not with what we're getting from U.S. production. Because what you get here is like, okay, let's just say that none of that happened and U.S. oil production was at 15,000. How big of an impact would it have on the price of oil? Well, we just had that one-time release from the SPR of like 10,000 barrels or something like that, right? And it didn't even make a dent in it. So I don't think it would be accurate to say that we would not be having this oil crisis if Joe Biden hadn't hampered U.S. oil production efforts, okay? But what they have done is that the Biden administration has been extremely unfriendly to the Saudis. It won't even talk to MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. He refuses to talk to him because of the killing of the journalist Khashoggi murder, right? So what are they going to do, right? Like MBS is probably the only one that could really come in here and say, well, we really should be increasing oil production and not letting the price of oil get too high, or it's going to hamper the global recovery and cause all these problems in developed economies and stuff. Like he could be saying that. And he's not, because instead he goes, okay, here's what the supply and demand in oil says, and as such, this is how we should set our targets. And I think he's more concerned about that. And if he was nice to Joe Biden, or if Donald Trump was still president, then maybe you'd say, well, I got our buddies over there. We do kind of have to help them, and so maybe they would compromise on that a little bit. I think that's the only thing that would make a difference between if it was Donald Trump or Joe Biden. But then we go to that JP Morgan report that everybody's talking about. And JP Morgan says that OPEC doesn't actually have the spare capacity. So if they don't actually have the spare capacity, like, that's like mind-blowing to me. That story, I really want to read that full thing. Because why do they think that they don't have the spare oil capacity? Because if they don't have the spare oil capacity, $150 barrel oil, yeah, that would maybe even be a lowball. I mean, at that point, you'd get some really crazy momentum, and who knows what markets would do. Didn't the Saudis say with the Biden oil release they would have to make an adjustment? I think that they did say something to the effect of, well, we can just not increase supply as much if they're going to do that. I don't know. Like, the OPEC meeting has been delayed to later in the week. We'll see what they do. like the whole thing is, should the Omicron variant, well, actually, so if you're OPEC, right, and there's an Omicron variant, then what do? you don't increase your supply as much. And maybe you even decrease how much supply you're putting out into the market, which would be overall bullish for oil, right? That should counteract, what kind of declines in demand for oil you would get, right? Except for that, we don't think that the declines in oil are really as, that we don't think that the decline in demand for oil is going to be nearly as big of a hit as the market has priced in off of this move from Friday. I don't know, man. I can't sort out in my head any situation where oil goes down. That's a little concerning to me. That is a little concerning to me. There must be a bear case. Joe Biden tweeting about the Build Back Better Act, but nothing. It's the president. I should read it. My Build Back Better Act will cut on the cost of prescription drugs, healthcare, childcare, and housing for tens of millions of middle-class families and seniors, while extending critical middle-class tax relief that is helping families make ends meet. Let's get this passed. Look, a guy at the name of Eric Nuttall, best oil guy to follow. I don't know, man. When I can follow Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, I don't know. If the dollar rises a lot, that could do it, TLA. Actually, this is a good point. But here's the question, though. Do you think that the dollar will get back above 100? The dollar index? Do you think the dollar index can get back above 100? That would be pretty crazy in and of itself, wouldn't it be? Like that would be like an all-time. I don't know if people would like really remember it or even realize the significance. But if the dollar, let's say that the dollar closed the end of the year above 100, that would be like an all-time biggest market failure ever. Because remember, at the beginning of the year, everybody was short the dollar, right? Everybody was short the dollar, and it had a hard time coming down. And it did for a while, but then it's bounced back so hard in the last month, 2 months. He gets down into micro details. Yeah, I've never really. I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna scalp oil. There's some things about the way that oil moves that I don't think are very advantageous to me. But man, you get a move like this, you should swing it, right? If only I had taken a swing trade long. Oh well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But that kind of information sounds like it could be useful to a swing trade. Yeah. With a micro, you have the ability. So here is a question: because right now oil is on the January contract. When do they roll over? Let's see here. CL futures. Crude oil overview. Specs. Trading terminates 3 business days prior to the 25th calendar day of the month prior to the month contract. Okay. If it is not a business day, trading terminates 4 days prior. 4 business days prior. Okay, which in this case it would not be, which means that 1, 2, 3, 4. So this contract will expire on November 19th. Is that correct? Oil has been it is a widowmaker, man. I'm not sure if oil or NQ is responsible for more retail trader fatalities, but it's up there, right? I'm going to bet that NQ is more, because NQ is even more volatile and it's probably more popular than oil. But oil it really is unique though, because it gets insane amounts of volume. Like there have been times where there was more activity in oil than there was in the equity indexes. Okay. But it's always thin. I mean, look at our DOM here right now, a big order out there is 30 contracts in oil. So you have something where liquidity is very low and volume is very, very high. And there's nothing else quite like that. Even if we come to the NQ, I don't think that NQ has quite the same. They're different. They're definitely different. And I guess the other thing that makes it unique is that this is an index, as well as this is like the primary market for oil. So, oh my. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey planning to step down as CEO of the company, reports CNBC. Good riddance. I shouldn't be saying that, but is Twitter buying off the? I bet you. I don't want to open up my trading platform, so I'm just gonna try and look at it through TradingView. TWTR stock tweeters. 1 minute. Oh yeah, they are buying. They are buying. They are up. How much are they up? I can't even tell. Hold on. There's like some settings. Open, high, low, close values. No. Okay. Doesn't really tell me how big of an increase that is. It's definitely going to be up on the board back behind us, isn't it? If not the top one today. That's big news. That is big news. Here, let's change it to 30-minute bars and then we can see. Okay, this bar up 10%. Oh my gosh. Twitter up 10% pre-market off of Jack Dorsey resigning as CEO. I think that's the right move. I don't necessarily want to own Twitter, but I definitely think it's a buy off of him getting out. I don't like the way he has run that platform. And one has to wonder, why? 4X Live tweets, Jack Dorsey leaving Twitter is a Ballmer moment. Oh yeah, that is. Okay, so I think what they're talking about is that when Steve Ballmer left Microsoft, like Microsoft really took off. And that was like, before that, everybody hated Microsoft. These days, like Microsoft, we're like okay with them. There's been like a ceasefire in the tech world with Microsoft, and their stock has done really well. Now, Black Friday sales down 28%, but Amazon reports record sales. Isn't that though? So the headline that I read live action yesterday was that it was down like 28%, but that was compared to 2019, and that it was actually more than last year. That it was more than last year. So, okay, well, the treasuries are making a bullish move here now again. So, interesting. We were saying maybe the 5-year makes a run for those highs, and it never did. So maybe 9105 or 905 in the 30-year wouldn't have been too bad. And we would have been picking the right side of the curve, either the 30 or the 10. I think in this instance, it probably would have been better to have done the 10 just because of the liquidity over there. But oh man, look at this. Well, you probably can't see it too well, but the picture that CNBC uses for Jack Dorsey there, that is like nothing even close to what he looks like right now. He looks so mangy with his. Oh man, he looks pretty nice in that picture. But last time I saw him, let's see here, Jack Dorsey. Yeah, last time I saw him, this guy, come on, my man. And then they got this picture of him. Like, what? That must have been him like 20 years ago or something. It's okay, Jack. We all get old. I'm getting old. You know what? I was in the shower yesterday, and I had white hairs on my chest hair. I think though that I am aging slower than my dad, because I'm pretty sure that my dad had a number of white hairs when he was my age. Oh man, this Twitter thing, we're just gonna have to keep an eye on this, because well, I don't know if can they really make that higher. Okay, so right now Twitter is at 5626, or no, 5215. Where did I get 56? Yeah, 53. Let's call it 53. Can Twitter make it significantly above 53? Well, the rates are making their move for sure here. We got about 3 minutes to the S&P 500 opening. I also wonder, can oil make another move when the S&P 500 opens? It could, because I mean, the oil pits didn't start until 7:30, right? Well, at the same time as the S&P 500. So there maybe oil could make a move like that. I'm not too sure though. I don't really know oil all that well. What do you guys think? Well, anyways, I'll just leave that tab open here in the background. All that stress, we are all going to end up looking 20 years older. You know what? I think I need to like get some more fat on my face, because I feel like, we'll zoom in here. I feel like, this right here under my eyes, it doesn't look so hot. It makes me look old. I'm going to look like George Soros when I'm, at this rate, I'm going to look like George Soros in 10 or 20 years. If we can break 74, then maybe we go to 150. Well, I mean, listen, if we move up in oil, I don't think that it's going to be at 150 today. If they got back to 80 today, that would be like an all-time insane move, right? But probably even to get to 80, it might take a few days, huh? Yeah, straight to 150. Well, I don't think that live action is saying that it's going to happen today. But I'm just saying, like, let's not think about 150 yet. Well, and you could buy a micro contract. Micro contract 72.40 maybe. Wouldn't be too bad. The Babylon Bee tweets, new variant found to be twice as virulent and blah, 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 whatever. Who cares at this point? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I was actually really shocked and surprised on Friday. Of course, I wasn't watching it, but when I saw that how much the market had moved, I was really surprised. Okay, so there's the S&P 500 going. Initial move is a buy. I'm not seeing like the huge buy-in delta right away. Are you going to buy? No, you guys, you know that I would never take a position in oil contracts, even with those micro contracts. Why would I? That's not me. I only put orders in the treasuries, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was an okay move in terms of, price in the S&P 500, but the delta so far is not really what I was expecting to see. Live action is long. Okay. I wouldn't mind being long the S&P 500 right here, 4650. Let's see. I'm not as sure about the S&P, and you can see there that oil is coming back a little bit. Is that because the dollar is going strong? Yes, it is. And the dollar looks strong again. That's having an effect there. You'd have to think though at some point if the S&P 500. Okay, so Delta now looks okay. So I think it would, we could still say long in the S&P 500. Maybe a sim trade. We could maybe take a sim trade. But it is not nearly as strong as I was kind of hoping for today. I mean, it's a Monday, so I don't know. Well, let's just see what they do. Opening up at 4650, I think is a positive development at the very least, right? If we come here to ES, right? Volume profile. So there was a little bit of a hole, and their first, limitations, the first impact there at 4650, which could act as a little bit of a hole to drag them into, but then be difficult to get through. But then, from 4660 and up, then you're starting to get back into single prints, and you could get, really good strong by the dip moves. So for the time being, though, they're coming back. All of them are coming back, actually. Well, the CL kind of moved down and recovered. Moved about 25 cents and then came back. News Squawk says fake news. Oh, okay. I won't repeat that one because that is fake news. Nothing we were talking about. Ignore that one. By the way, how are we on volume? Because I was listening to it, one like my own local recording the other day. I didn't really like the way that it sounded. Maybe it's because it was compressed too much. Maybe instead of compressing by 3, let's do 2.5. There we go. That'll be a little bit more natural. Pretty decent retrace and sell. Let's try from there. 40 seems like a nice round number to do it at, although I wouldn't be surprised if they could try and come back and tag the 30 area. I'm going to try and manage this like a superstar though. So I might take on a ton of risk. Because it is a sim trade. What's the point of taking a sim trade these days for me unless I'm going to take on crazy risk and do something funny? Well, Treasury's bouncing there again. Back to 905 in the 30 year. I guess so. Spread is improved a little bit there. COVID death rate not rising. Swap restrictions and mass hysteria for cautious optimism. Oh, okay. Swap restrictions and mass hysteria for cautious optimism as Omicron mutation is super wild variant, says the World Health Organization and coronavirus experts. Tick near zero ad. You say you like your e-mini trade because tick is not declining. Oh boy. Forbes magazine tweets MicroStrategy, Bitcoin's biggest corporate investor, buys another $414 million as Omicron variant puts crypto prices under, quote, serious pressure. Yeah, I don't know what their average position is. If Bitcoin in this decline were to go below 30, they're gonna go bankrupt, basically, right? Okay, and what was the... Okay, yeah, we can take one contract off there. Yeah, they've been buying forever. Like, before their average position was like in the 30s, right? And it kind of went below them for a little bit, but then it bounced back up and they were fine. Guess I need to get more water in me because my lips are getting super chapped. The Economist. The coming year will probably be an economically trying one as countries are squeezed between two formidable economic forces, tighter American monetary policy and slower growth in China. Yeah, the growth in China is going to become an interesting issue here in a few months, I think, because their growth does not seem sustainable. And it seems like that with Evergrande and everything else, that that's maybe finally starting to catch up with them, yeah? Okay. E-mini trying to make a push there. They need to get above that 40 and a half is kind of where they're going to fight over it, I think. And clear the up prices there to see clearly they breach it. You want, yeah, they're definitely fighting over that price. This is somebody actively using their market orders to try and keep it below it. Okay. That 30-year back down there. Is the 30-year going on a flattener? Never go long when the tick is above 1K. That might be a good rule. We did that study with the tick. I'm sure that there's probably a bunch of other ways to try and use it that might be more advantageous. Because what I'm starting to learn with the tick is that if all of the stocks are going in the same direction, that's really strong evidence of program trading. Like a algorithm managing a portfolio and dumping their whole portfolio. Still fighting over that 46.40 and a half. And oil, I'm going to say oil still ranging, but kind of towards the lower end of the range between now, let's say 72 and a quarter and 72 and 3/4. Twitter shares move higher. Pre-market last up 12.5%. Well, so far they haven't moved. They are now in 50. Remember, the high there was 53, essentially. So that might be the extent of the move there in Twitter today, but that shows how much the street appreciates Jack. Yeah. Well, you can see they're buying there in the S&P 500. Like the delta is there, but they're not able to break through that price yet. I think if they're able to break through it, that you could see a pretty good, retest of the highs from before this. But let's just see. It's quite a bit more mixed than certainly I anticipated, wouldn't you say? Like I wanted their really strong buying on the open and they just take off, That's the kind of the buy the dip sort of thing that I was expecting. It's so close. Shouldn't, you know what? I shouldn't have come. I'm endangering the mission. That's what's going on there. 46.40. They're like, oh, so that's long at 46.40. Well, it's a sim trade. Oh, no, we don't care. We still want to screw him over. Another little move there. Keep an eye on the dollar here. The dollar has been pretty wishy-washy here, hasn't it? Maybe some of that initial move was the dollar increasing, but now I'm not so sure if that's really having an effect. Okay, a little bit of a move lower there in the E-mini. Oh, actually quite a bit of a stop run, in fact, I would say. They tried recovering it initially, but whew. Sheesh. Dorsey and Twitter's board have settled on his successor. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Okay, well. So there's 30. So it doesn't surprise me that they tagged 30 there, right? Because that was where they finished on Friday. Maybe even 20. Wait, where did I get that? Or was that where they opened on Friday? Maybe that was where they opened. Yeah, that was about like where they opened. Little bit of it bouncing, a little bit of it bounce now, though. The treasury is still not moved by any of this. This is really, really interesting to me that the treasuries are not moving. Okay, well, they're trying to dig themselves out of that hole there now. Okay, now that move up on the E-minis did cause a little bit of selling in the treasury, but only a little bit. And oil did come down another little step. Well, these waves of buying in the E-mini look a lot more promising than what we were getting before. Before it was kind of like a little trickle of buying, but this is more like waves. It rises a bit and then it goes. Ooh, look at that. That's not a disaster, but the S&P 500 is now getting very volatile. Very volatile here, yeah. And oil did move down with it a little bit too. And the 30 years still kind of chilling there at 9.5. Hey, you big toasty, how you doing this morning? And we're gonna see. So now it's been more like the 38 area has kind of been resistance. Yeah, we'll see. This is difficult because the situation could change on a dime, you know? Sure, I'm glad though that I haven't tried messing with the micro treasuries over here though, because the treasuries are just kind of don't seem to know what they want to do. Okay, Iran making a statement about the nuclear agreement there. I would have thought that would maybe have an effect on oil, but maybe that would make oil buy, but they're not really responding to that yet. I do see a headline that the incoming German government is said to be preparing a COVID emergency brake. I don't know if that's really moving things, but probably something to keep an eye on. Iran says no way to return to 2015 deal without verifiable lifting of all sanctions. Okay. Oh, we got pending home sales month over month. Okay. There's just that one though. Forecast spot 8, previous -2 spot 3. I don't think that that's kind of a headline that the market would be waiting on. It is a medium impact sort of event. There is Powell speaking later today. I would think they are fully stockpiled by now. Yeah. I mean, analysts have been predicting that the Iranian deal, if it even comes, is not coming for a long time, and that very much, I think, reinforces why they still are stuck talking about the same stupid stuff, right? E-mini's gonna try it again. You think they can bust it this time? Well, that looked a little bit better. There was some stops there on that one. Okay, there we go. I'm happy about that. We don't need that anymore. So they still did not break the pivot line at 46.40 and a half. Just kind of shows, yeah, I wouldn't trade off of that, but it's because whether it breaks or not seems random, but the algorithms do seem to fight over it for some reason. And oil coming back, kissing 72 now. Yeah. And still, so we're getting more steepening coming in again. Live Action says he's long with you. Let's see if we break this. I don't know, man. There's pretty strong resistance up there, isn't it? You can see some large orders starting to stack over there too, in fact. You see them? Here, I'll move over my Vista chart. Do you see them? The large orders around the 40 area? Well, they reduced a little bit there. But see, it's not just that. It looks like somebody is actively trying to hold that. The treasuries are on the rise. Our interest rates are on the march now. Still kind of steepening, but marching. One minute to the home sales numbers. No, like the treasury started to move there, and then the equities didn't break through the 46.40, and they backed off again. There is some iceberging there at 130 even. Here comes the housing number. Wow, it's a really strong number. Hold on, am I hearing that number correctly? That can't be. Yeah, no, it is. 7.5 versus an expected spot 8. And treasuries are buying off of that? I don't think so. That's a smash number, man. Has it ever been that big of a dip? No. That is, well, actually, we actually have had some pretty big beats in September and in June. So that's not like crazy out of the, like, there's no precedent for that kind of a number, but it still was a strong number. They busted it. Well, they're still having trouble holding that number, but they definitely smashed through the price that was giving them trouble, at least. I don't see how they can short this. I don't either. I'm not entirely sure if that's what we're seeing here, though. I mean, like, the changes in cumulative delta are pretty wishy-washy, you know? Well, oil is now pushing into the $71 range. $71.80 or so is kind of where that other move where they really moved up originated from. So okay, so there's the E-mini proving they can hold that 46.40. Treasury is still moving there. That's odd. Wow, and there's oil falling another 50 cents. Okay. So we're hearing a headline now, UK urging booster shots. I don't know. It kind of seems like there's a change here, but I'm not quite 100% sure what's going on. E-mini seems to be holding these prices okay. Like, it's not doing anything too dramatic yet. Oil, though, I am kind of wondering what's going on here in oil. Let's come back and look at the volume. Well, it looks to me like a little bit of a retrace in volume there, but a push. So that kind of looks like kind of more of the inverse sine law going on there in oil. So I'm not sure what you make of that. But the treasuries are moving there. Why are they moving? And I'm not seeing the dollar move, so I don't think it's that. Here's ES again. I'll try adding there. Well, so I'm not sure what to make of this in ES because we're at a pretty critical area, and you would expect to see them pick a direction. They haven't for the first 30 minutes. So we could wait for, the 8:15 to 8:30 move, but often when it gets like this, it just kind of goes nowhere. Although I'd also say that usually when it gets like this, I would have been stopped out of my trade by now, huh? Didn't Pfizer say something about having a vaccine for Omicron within? Yes, they did. But all of the experts are saying that the Omicron variant doesn't look very, harmful. It's not as severe. Paolo's speaking. Is he speaking right now? I thought he was not supposed to speak until 1 o'clock my time. I thought we had like 5 hours for that. Oil just getting smashed there pretty hard. Back to 71. So oil has lost about $1 here. For no discernible reason. I'm sure there is a reason, but I'm not privy to it. But like the way that it's acting kind of suggests to me some sort of a headline that like we missed, especially oil there. But okay, JVT, I don't know who that is, but number of mutations make us worry about vaccine effectiveness. Increase in cases in SA rate raises questions on transmissibility. Okay, whatever. It may just be people really worried about. Okay, so should this one in the ZN? No. I should have stopped out of that already. Hmm. You may need to try in there again. Treasury may be reaching an equilibrium point. So I'm going to try this here again. $71.11. Well, if that was like a scalp, that wasn't too bad, huh? They're bouncing pretty hard in oil right now. After dipping below the 71, and then it bounced pretty hard. Wouldn't say that that's like a clear reversal kind of bounce yet, but hey, what you can do? Man, I picked that one out in the 10-year beautifully. Wish that I hadn't have tried fading that original move, of course, but Pfizer announces retirement of Chief Financial Officer Frank D'Amelio. Yep, and all the news headlines are, Omicron virus strain may be less severe than originally feared. All 11 major industry groups rose. There's ES at 4640 again. Can they do it? See here, I'm watching it and I start talking about it. That means that they're gonna they're gonna shy away from it again. I find the order flow in the oil incredibly difficult to read. Overall, that move down was pretty, like a lot of pulling. The move down in oil, a lot of pulling, and yeah, I don't know what to make of that move. Like, signs of informed trading? I think a little bit, yeah, a little bit. But it's so volatile that it's hard to make a determination on that sort of a thing. And yes, does shy away from 4640 again. Well, one issue that I do see here is like I can think of other reasons other than the virus that you might be bearish the S&P 500, but a lot of those are related to the interest rates. And if the interest rates are going to be here, especially with that move that we just saw, the Treasury's buying there. I really don't see how you read that as a negative in the S&P 500. So something else is going on here. Yeah, there's a possibility when you look at the data that they oversampled an initial early cluster on South African data of the Omicron. They're presuming that this is very new when in fact it might have been circulating for quite some time, which from all of the other indications that we've gotten suggests that is the likely case, yeah. Okay, now we're to 8:15. Oh, you took that with a full CL contract? Oh, yeah, that's right. You do that all the time, though, huh? That's still not bad. I'm kind of more interested in oil on the do they get back to 80? I think that longer term, that's a pretty good trade to look at. Oh, that's with my Dom there at 70.7. That's kind of weird. In the oil? Well, that's weird. Canada reports North America's first cases of Omicron variant. Yeah, it's here. I mean, it's everywhere. Almost certainly, right? Funny that it didn't trade that price too. Could still though. De Blasio says there are no Omicron cases in the city, but we are coordinating with the state and preparing. NASDAQ suspends trading in Twitter. Really? What, even when it's only 48.66? Why would they do that? That's suspicious. Okay, well, oil trying there again. That was here. If you look at the 1 minute chart, that was like a lower low. You know, like strong bounce, a lower low, bouncing again. We'll see. Not quite sure what's going on there. You can see that there's a divergence between price and cumulative delta. So it seems like something's going on there. We are in a situation where if somebody were to be buying here below 71 in the oil, and it was a large meta order, and they pushed things back up, it would probably push back to even higher. But sounds like all new variants will be named off of transformers. No, they're all going to be named after Greek alphabet letters, but they skipped the letter. Here's the thing that irks me about the Omicron variant, as I thought, oh, okay, so is there like a cool symbol? No, Omicron is basically just a lowercase o. Nothing special about it. Just a lowercase. So they picked the most boring symbol for it. The Hill reports Paul and Cruz fire back after Fauci says criticism of him is quote unquote dangerous. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think that anybody really listens to him anymore. And here we are, S&P 500 at 4640. Once again, can they break the I mean, this is now turning into an ascending triangle, so ascending triangles are one of those patterns that I don't think that you can sit down and say like, when it has a probability of doing this and that, but when they break, you have cumulative, you have the volume accompanying it. That can be like, yeah, they busted through a big seller, and that could result in some stops up above. but we shall see. Things look still pretty uncertain at this moment, don't they? We're still in like that reversal time period too, so I don't know, maybe it just takes a little bit more time. And I'm still weirded out by this camera here. Hold on. Here's that little level. Yeah, it seems like it is level. Huh. That's so weird. It must just be because the monitor is not level. I put it on the monitor. If you put it on the monitor, then but the monitor is level too. So then how is this not? How is this level? Maybe it isn't quite level. Maybe it isn't. Here comes the bears. And I'll note again, I'm not seeing stuff in the dollar. I am seeing E-minis treasuries breaking out to a new high there. Regular session high at least. Live action added. I probably should have added maybe a little bit, but I think at this point in the E-mini, it's I kind of just need to let it go. My little thing is blocked. Where is it? Yeah, I've got 3 on. Oh, I did add. Good deal. So I should take one off at the 40. Representative Tom Suozzi expected to announce gubernatorial run. Oh, which means that's another House Democrat that they lose. Okay, cool. Got the fill there. And oil breaks to another new low there. Well, now, when it comes to oil, at what price do you get concerned for them? $70, $69? I don't know. Oh, we got another number today? Wait, where's my calendar? Why am I missing? And that one's not listed on the Forex Factory. It's like Dallas Manufacturing Index, something such. That's not on my calendar. Next thing I have on my calendar is Laquard speaking. Well, I think they're getting into interesting levels in the in oil now, wouldn't you say? Who LaGuardia is going to be speaking at 12:15 Eastern Time, which will be due to speak about science diplomacy. Yeah. So probably nothing to worry about. Now, New York issuing a mask advisory. Maybe they're just concerned about. Well, I don't know. I'm interested in this oil one in particular. Let's see. I don't see anything about why oil is making the move that it is. So it kind of looks like it's just trading. In fact, this move a little bit lower below 71 has not been like accompanied with deltas. So it's just trading. Who knows? But with the treasuries reacting on it as well, I think we got to be on our toes for anything. But I think I'm going to take a quick little break here. I'll be right back, all right? Producers love the 70 mark, and so do the Saudis. Anything below, and they sweat a little. Maybe they just hedging. I don't know. Obviously, we got the e-minis come back down here. I'm glad that I took profits on that thing. They're gonna go for a new low. G7 health ministers statement. Ministers committed to continuing to collaborate closely with the World Health Organization and international partners in order to share information and monitor the Omicron variant. So I'm kind of seeing like a bunch of headlines that don't appear to change the fundamentals, but that the markets could be reacting to. Like that one could be something they're at. Oh, by the way, the 10-year just pulled a little bit there at 130 and 5.5. I'll put a stop limit order on that one, just in case. Well, it would be an awful waste for them to come all this way on the way down and not go and break a new low, don't you think? My table level? Yeah, so then why isn't this level? We'll try that. And TikTok fans are just as suspicious as they are curious, as far as I want to read that. It's about TikTok. Why not? Okay, did they break? Oh, they did. While I was doing that, S&P broke new lows. And the oil broke significantly as well, didn't it? Yeah, that's pretty ugly. That's a pretty ugly move in the oil, isn't it? Oh, I really want to know that. Like, well, that could just be oil, huh? Oil can have bender moves like that, can't they? This is kind of the thing where I think, like, the thing that is unique about oil, right? Well, there's micro oil. I'm just. Why do you think it fell though? Is it normal to see a decline of $2.80 in oil over the course of 30 minutes or so, an hour, I guess, on nothing? You know, there's got to be a reason for that, right? Live action says it's oil. Yeah, that's a big move in oil. Like a dollar move in oil is pretty significant. I don't know, man. Actually, why not? Well, the E-mini seems to be bouncing. At least that was a decent amount of a bounce there. Of course, they're still going to come back up to that 40 area and probably have some resistance. But if with the way that they broke the low and everything, maybe if they come back up, it could be more significant. Like with the way that it went, I think that you could see like a bounce higher, but the amounts are small enough that it's probably not worth it to us trying to make that kind of an estimate. Meaning, like, the probability that it changes things is probably insignificant because it's going to matter more what these big money managers are doing today. And there's oil dropping a little bit again. I mean, this move in oil is kind of looking like a panic of some sort. I'm not really seeing anybody talking in the crude channel. It sure is chop over here in ES, that's for sure. There's 70 in oil. I don't know, boys. Okay, there was a little aggressive buy right there in oil. That was interesting. Given the ranges, I would say that I don't think I have the risk and wherewithal to be trying to trade. Hold on a second, somebody's at the door. When you get out of it's a sim, so I'm just toying with it. We'll see. I wouldn't follow what I'm doing here in the treasury. I think I might do it at like 1,000. In fact, I might add here. We'll see. We'll give it a little bit of time. So oil did find a little bit of support at 70. The S&P 500 doesn't look too excited though. Stop way too much. Yeah. Well, you notice I didn't take one in the micro treasuries, right? I wasn't confident about what it was going to do. Like kind of the issue that I'm having. Well, first of all, my primary scenario for coming in today was that the S&P 500 was going to buy the dip. They didn't like outright sell. I mean, even here still, I think we would need to see them below 46.20 before like you'd really see like real panic come in from breaking those levels. At the moment in the E-mini, it still kind of looks like it's just chopping people up right now. Now, why would that be? Why is it doing that? I'm not quite sure. Just seems a little weird to me. So, but so everything else is acting kind of weird. But then I go and I look over at the Treasury, and the Treasury. Brett Taylor to become independent chair of Twitter. Anyways, the treasuries looked really directionless at first, and then we got a pretty good buy in there. And I really don't know what to make of that. Why do you only play futures? I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm not going to trade stocks or options. Like I don't really have enough risk to really, I think, do options, right? And with stocks, I feel like day trading stocks is kind of hard. Even if you have, even if you're above the minimum account balance and all that sort of stuff, day trading stocks is hard. we don't have as much data, that sort of a thing. So that's kind of where I stick to treasuries, where I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. I can watch the news and predict new orders and watch everything, see all the order flow to see if it's really acting the way that I expect it should. It's not right now, right? It's definitely not right now. I do not know what to make of this run in the treasury. It seems a little bizarre to me, to be honest with you. It seems more than a little bizarre to me, this move in the treasury. They confuse the day traders who use Twitter for stock tips. That wouldn't. Oh, CTO Parag Argwal is the successor. I don't know who that is. All a bunch of names I don't know, but I'm sure we're going to get to know them soon. Well, I'm dipping into my risk. The other thing is I haven't really been watching my E-mini trades, so... Or sorry, my treasury trade. Parag is decent. Hang on. I'm kind of thinking about maybe digging into my risk here a little bit in the MES, but... I don't know if now is a good point to try and increase, since I seem more uncertain right now. So, well, the oil here, even though they declined, like I said, there was a strong bounce around 71, right? And then it declined, but that whole way down, it was quite volatile. I don't know how usual that is for oil, but it seemed quite volatile to me. Yeah. Oh, that was a little bit of a stronger buy. Maybe if they get back to 70, that seemed kind of was a spot they shied away from for a while, that passing they might be happy about. E-mini's doing okay here. The thing about the E-mini here, my position on the E-mini, I would much prefer, like my average position is at 31.50, but my profits come all the way down to 25, right? Would have preferred my profits to be below whatever the low of the day is, right? So that's why I'm a little bit worried about adding to it right now. I suppose there is plenty of volatility in it that if they decide to go back, it's gonna... Yeah. Talk of lower number of rate hikes next year due to variant. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I have difficulty, is that in the oil, feel very confident. I'm going to say I feel very confident in oil that they have gone well past whatever the worst case scenario is for the Omicron variant. The treasury, I'm not so sure, because with where we were last week in ZN and ZB, like let's just say ZN below 130. Let's just say ZN below 130 is quite hawkish in my opinion. That's like we're going to get 2 rate hikes next year, and we're maybe on watch for another one. So in the Treasury, this is kind of why I'm still been a little bit wary about doing anything with it. Of course, this, let's just close this, because I don't, somebody was asking me, when are you going to stop out of it? And that makes me worried that like somebody was trying to follow my Treasury trades. please don't do that. So I'm just going to cancel that one, since I haven't really been taking it very seriously. And 250 is for the trades I've been making in the Treasury. In the ZN is a reasonable loss. Like, there's no reason for me to make that $1,000, loss or whatever. Take that much risk on it. That said, who knows? There's a little bit of an iceberg at 07.5, so. So oil did recover this 770. If we had just gone long at 70, that wouldn't, you could take like 2 contracts and then be taking one off here at the 70, and you'd probably be feeling pretty good, yeah. But when it's moving like $2, like, I don't know, man. Now at the same time, I gotta be really careful here. I don't want anybody to think that like I think that's the low of the day in oil, okay? Because the way this thing is trading, it can probably do anything right. But if that ended up being the low of the day in oil, and then they moved higher, that could look really, really good potentially on the chart. So I don't know. Delta wise, we're about balanced here after that plunge lower. So in order for us to go higher, I think that we would need to see another meta order buying. Oh, what was that? Oh, look at that in the 5-year. Now here's something else. On this move, up in the treasuries, they steepened. So what do you make of that too? Because if you think that like they're going to have to stay easy money for longer, you would flatten, right? Flattener means easy money for longer. I don't know. I'm a little suspicious. And while oil did tag that 770, and they coming back down. Oh, it is just a mover today, huh? For all I know, this entire decline down in oil is just volatility. I don't see any other reason for it. And frankly, same in the ES. It's like, okay. There's now almost all of the treasuries are at their highs of the session. Somebody's making an awfully dovish bet over here, I think. I feel. Yeah. Let's see here. Saeed Javid pledges to ease restrictions as soon as possible if Omicron variant turns out to be no more dangerous than the Delta variant. He says that vaccines will still have an impact even if it is lessened by the new variant. I don't know, who is that? I should know this, huh? British politician. Secretary of State for Health. Okay. Oh, you know, that's another thing. Oh, that's actually something that we should really pay attention to. Is I feel like that the European traders are more bearish on this than the Americans. Yeah. So when the European markets close here in 30 minutes, will we get a change in the tape? And maybe then we bounce? Right, because in Europe, they were all like, Germany might do new restrictions and all that stuff, right? Sometimes when I try and open the Jigsaw orders and positions view, it doesn't show me correctly. Okay, well, oil is looking like they made a higher low and a higher high here now on the pivots. Things pretty tense in Ukraine and Taiwan. Maybe that's I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure that the $150 barrel oil thing, from what we read, and I think I will definitely be trying to do as much reading as I can about it, because I've always, my problem has always been I don't understand the oil market very well. I'm involved in a storyline now, so the more I can understand about, that's a good foothold to understand more about oil, right? And we're going to be watching it, but it sounds like that the theory that JP Morgan was making is that even if OPEC wanted to increase supply right now, they can't. They don't actually have as much spare capacity as they claim to. That's what JP Morgan seems to be saying. Jack Dorsey explains why he is leaving. Open image. After almost 16 years of having a role at our company, from founder to CEO to chair to executive chair, I've decided it's finally time for me to leave. Why? Well, there's a lot of talk about the importance of a company being founder-led. Ultimately, I believe that's severely limiting in a single point of failure. I've worked hard to ensure this company can break away from its founding and founders. There are 3 reasons I believe now is the right time. First, Parag is becoming our CEO. The board ran a rigorous process considering all the options. He's been my choice, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think this is such a lame okay, yes, Parag, that's the reason why. No, that all happened after you decided it was going to happen, right? He's been my choice for some time, given how deeply he understands the company and its needs. Bragg has been behind every critical decision that helped turn this company around. He's curious, probing, rational, creative, demanding, self-aware, and humble. He leads his heart and soul, and as well, I'm excited to meet him. Not that I would meet him, but you know what I mean. Second, Brett is a drink, that's why. Third is you. Yeah, I don't feel like I should waste your ears reading this whole thing out. P.S. I'm tweeting this email. My one wish is for Twitter Incorporated to become the most transparent company in the world. Hi, Mom. Okay. The most transparent company in the world, huh? Outspoken NBA player changing name to Enes Kanter Freedom to celebrate U.S. citizen. Go, Enes. You know what? That guy, I remember when he was here in Utah, he's always been kind of controversial, but I always enjoyed his antics, and I like him hitting back against China and some of this other stuff that's been going on. Good for him. Okay, that's a little bit even better of a move there in oil. And minis there seem, yeah, okay. 38 was that other, okay. Okay, well, we have now seen oil. They dipped all the way down to 70 and bounced off of 70 and are now almost on the verge of tagging 71. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a crazy move. What a monster. I think that if I was trying to scalp oil through all of that, I probably would have lost some money, huh? I mean, maybe I got lucky, but I think I would have lost some money if I was scalping oil there. Swing trade, though. Let's reset that so that we can see that. Oh, do I have to? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, they did touch 71. The treasuries, though, still hanging out up there. 130.10. Okay, by the way, the UK's health minister is still talking right now. That is probably having an impact, I think. All those European traders, they got to be watching this, right? Now, that was a little significant downtick there in the ZN. I wouldn't necessarily say that means they reverse, but that could be a significant change that we just saw there. Yep, there's another tick down. And the bid at 09 half pulse. This is certainly enough for the market makers to go, whoa, hold on a second. What's this? And probably, here as related, it's the S&P 500 is taking off again. So. Oh, it is 9 o'clock. It is time for me to go. Wow. Well, what should we name today's stream? Volatile Black Friday Hangover. That's what today's event title is going to be. Hey guys, thank you guys very much for joining us. That was fun to watch. Didn't take any micro treasury trades today, so, and all of these ones were sims. So we'll see what happens. I am going to be keeping an eye out here in the next 30 minutes, see if things change when the European markets close. All right, and I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.